All right. Well, we will go ahead and get started, and we'd like to welcome JT Poston, winner of the 2022 John Deere Classic, to the Media Center here. JT, congratulations on your second career PGA Tour win. It's been a great couple of weeks. I was out last week, and just to watch what you've done in your last 8 rounds, it's been pretty amazing. And you, with the win this week, you move up to inside the top 25 to number 22 in FedEx Cup. With all that said, let's just take a few comments on your initial feelings on how you're feeling after winning.
Yeah, it feels great to get another win. They don't come easy out here, and I really wanted to get that second win to sort of validate Wyndham. So it feels good to get it out of the way. Like you said, been playing some great golf the last few weeks, and really going back to April, I felt pretty good about my game. So I felt like this was coming, and it's nice to get it done here at the John Deere, where it's just a great spot.
Hanging on to a lead for one round is difficult enough, but you've done it wire to wire this week. How much added pressure does that put on you now that you've gotten the job done? You can be honest with us. How tough is it when you take an 18-hole lead and realize you've still got a long way to go with it?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, anytime you have the lead, it's just tough to play with the lead. There's just a little bit of added pressure, and wire to wire, pretty much having the lead from Thursday on. I told all the media after every round that I was just trying to stick to my game plan and I wasn't going to think about it, but the truth is it's hard not to. It's hard not to think about the finish line and what comes with it, all that comes with getting a win out here. And as much as you try and put that aside and not think about it, it's tough not to.
One more for me, and then we'll take questions. Speaking of perks with the win, you earn your spot into the Open Championship after this week. How excited are you for that?
I can't wait. I've always wanted to play in an Open Championship, and this will be my first one. And so for it to be at St. Andrews and the 150th is pretty special and pretty hard to draw it up any better than that.
Perfect. Okay, George, we'll start with you.
JT, first player to win wire to wire here in 3 decades. Have you thought about that? Has it sunk in?
I don't know if it's really sunk in, but I just know it's not easy to go on wire to wire. I've heard of other guys doing it at other events, and you see it happen every once in a while, but they always seem to make it look easier than it actually is. I feel like it was tough. I mean, especially today coming out, you're just trying to play solid golf and trying to hold on and build that lead as much as you can coming down the stretch, so it's not as stressful, but it's just tough to do.
You wore it so well after every round this week. How did you keep it all composed?
Just trying to draw off of past experience at tournaments. I knew I'd won out here before, and so I tried to think back to the Wyndham and even winning in college, where you try and draw on some of those memories of hitting the right shots when it counts, and just focusing on that and trying not to focus too much on the leaderboard or getting defensive.
JT, Brendan Todd said that you show a little excitement, you get a little flappable when he puts a quick gin on you, but he said other than that, you really you just have this really calm demeanor that you displayed. You seem to walk with the same pace all 4 rounds, and your putting stroke doesn't seem to, at least this week, didn't seem to let loose. How is that demeanor part of what you practice? I mean, is that a strength?
Honestly, it's just who I am. I know how I feel, and I guess I do a good job of not showing it. But there's definitely some nerves. But I've always been pretty level, pretty even keel. And I think that's a strength. Not getting too excited, especially today after a great start. I feel like it could have been easy to get real excited and start thinking about the finish line. And I'll try to kind of stay one shot at a time and stay focused on what I had in front of me. But it's kind of just how I've always been, and that goes back to junior golf and college golf as well.
What about hitting gin?
Jen, yeah, he's had our number in Jen this week. We've got a whole crew of guys at the house. We'll probably play some more tonight, but hopefully my luck's turned around in that regard too.
TJ.
JT, congrats, man. You talked about the first win, trying to validate that with the second win. Which was easier to get, or which was more difficult?
I think the first one is always tough, but I think the way that I did it, going bogey-free at Wyndham, I think I put a little more pressure on myself kind of the last couple of years trying to get that second win and trying to be perfect again. I think it took a little while for me to realize or to accept the fact that you're never going to win another golf tournament going 72 holes without a bogey. So it's okay to make a mistake as long as you limit them. And that was something that I finally kind of, I would say, realized this year and tried not to be perfect, but just tried to be real solid.
How did that mentality then factor in today when you start birdie, 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 and then follow it up with back-to-back bogeys?
Yeah, I knew at the end of the day after the second bogey on 6 that I was still in the lead. I knew it wasn't as big a lead as I would have liked or what it was a few holes prior, but I knew I was in a good spot, and I just needed to get back into that rhythm of hitting good golf shots like I had the last few days and hitting the ball in the fairway, hitting a bunch of greens, and I was able to do a decent job of that coming in and made a lot of good pars, and that birdie on 17 really gave me the cushion.
What happened on 5 and 6?
5 was just, 5 was a 3-putt. I had a few of those the last few days, and it's not really my game. My putter, I would say, is usually my strength, but I hit 2 good putts. I mean, it was kind of one of those deals. I just misread it, or the ball might have bobbled a little. I don't know. I just missed it. I think the biggest thing was to just walk off that green and forget about it and go on to the next. And then 6, I hit 2 good shots. Fleener and I felt really good about the club in my hand on 6, and I hit it exactly how I wanted. We just didn't get the help with the wind that we were expecting, and it came up short, and that was a bad place to miss it.
You're right here, and then come down to the end.
Aaron said he kind of talked to you after coming off the seventh green about kind of committing to the game plan, and did that help you reset? Did that help you mentally going into the back nine?
Yeah, I mean, I think those 3 holes we had made the bogey on 5 and 6 and given some back, and then 7 I hit it over there in a pretty tough spot and was able to get it up and down, but the up and down kind of settled us down. But yeah, Fleener, he said, just really stick to our game plan and talk through every shot, and just to make sure that we're fully committed, because anytime when you've got pressure like that and you're in that position, and if you're not 100% committed, then you can't really expect to hit a lot of good shots. So that was sort of our game plan, was keep hitting the shots that we wanted to hit, and just live with the results. I mean, if it didn't go exactly where we wanted, at least we were committed to that shot.
That helped you mentally reset, was it a mental reset at that point?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, just the mental reset for me was saving par on 7 and kind of settling the nerves a little bit. Getting off to that great start and then giving a few back immediately, and the lead getting down to 1 was a little bit, I don't want to say jarring, but it got my attention, and I knew there was a lot of golf left, and I needed to play well in order to finish with a win. So it was nice to get that up and down, and Fleener's always been good about saying the right things at the right time, and knowing when to kind of let me do my thing and knowing when to step in and say, hey, we need to reset.
JT, you almost have to do that again on 13, don't you, after the up and down there, and the lead is again closing and they're nipping at your heels? Do you look at the board at that point?
Yeah, I was peeking at the board a few times throughout the day. I tried not to look on every hole just because I feel like it's easy to get locked into that and not sticking to a game plan of hitting the right shots. And there were a few times throughout the day where I made some key putts. I think that putt kind of really kept some momentum going, being able to make par there on 13.
JT, kind of reading up on you a little bit, it seemed like your grandfather was a pretty big influence on you with the game of golf, your first win since he passed. I guess, what does that kind of mean, and what were some of the qualities you kind of took from him that you apply to yourself?
Yeah, I mean, he meant the world to me and still does. I mean, I wouldn't be the person I am today without him and his guidance. And yeah, we're probably coming up on a year since he's passed, and you know, I really wanted to play right after he passed this fall. I really wanted to play well, kind of for him, and it just didn't happen. I think I was putting too much pressure on myself. I know he's smiling right now. I know he's probably working on a short game, but he meant so much to me and my family, and everything from a golf standpoint. He was there growing up, so I owe a lot of this to him.
He was a pretty accomplished player, so did you get a lot of those qualities, I guess?
I learned a lot from him. He got me into the game. He and my dad got me into the game when I was probably 3 years old, and he gave me my first ever golf club, a Persimmon 5-wood that I think my mom or grandmother still has somewhere at the house. But I learned the most from him just by watching him, how he carried himself. I learned a lot from the passenger seat of a golf cart, and that sort of thing. It's irreplaceable. I mean, I can't even put it into words really how much it means to me, how much it meant to have him kind of there throughout my career, and he was able to be there for the win in Wyndham, and I would have loved for him to be here to see this, but I know he's smiling right now.
So how much pressure are you under now to pick up the house rental?
I think that's already probably said. I think those guys are already celebrating a free house for the week, and they're going to have a head start on me on the celebrations, but hopefully we can catch up.
Talk about the synergy that brought to this for you guys, because you all seem to have some pretty good weeks.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's something that we've done a little bit, you know, staying in houses with some of the guys, and this week we had a big house with 6 of us. It was myself, Patton Kazire, Grayson Sigg, Danny McCarthy, Brennan Todd, and Ben Coles. And so we had card games going every night. We had all kinds of, you know, dice, bets, whatever. And it's fun. It kind of feels like college golf again, where I love that team atmosphere. I'm still real close to a lot of my college teammates, and I love the team game, the team atmosphere. And so it kind of has a little bit of that feel, even though we're not playing on the same team. You're coming back to the house and everybody's pulling for each other. And, you know, yesterday Denny and I played in the final group together, and, you know, we're going out there having fun and trying to beat each other.
JT, it's been about 2.5 seasons since your first win. Can you talk about how you and Fleener decompress after a tournament when you have a good finish and you motivate yourself to do well? You've been working on the game, and we're just curious how you go about that process.
Yeah, I mean, the goal is obviously to win out here when you show up at a tournament. And so when you don't win, usually we'll kind of take a step back at the end of the week and figure out how we can improve, how we can get better. For the better part of the last year, it's been my actual golf swing and my ball striking. My putting's always been pretty consistent and a strength of mine, I feel like. But yeah, I just flat out wasn't hitting it good the last year, and so that's kind of what's been our approach: is how can we hit it better? How can we give ourselves more looks?
JT, can you address your expectations now? Does this change anything? Do you have some how big do you dream?
Big, you know. I have some career goals of playing on President's Cups and Ryder Cups and stuff like that, winning majors. I haven't done anything like that yet. I haven't really played that great in a major yet, so I'll probably take a step back and kind of reevaluate some of the goals. But right now, you know, a good start would be playing well in the majors, getting in the mix in the majors, and playing well in some big events, and yeah, you know, I'd love to be on one of those U.S. teams. I know I've got a lot of work to do to be relevant there, but it's a goal of mine and something that I'm definitely going to try and accomplish.
Zach, you stayed with Zach down in Phoenix, so You've at least got that going for you, right?
Yeah, Zach is a good friend. Lives down there in Sea Island where I live, and I've played a lot of golf with him there on the island and out here. And he's been a great mentor at times. And yeah, it doesn't hurt that he's the captain right now. So, hopefully I'm hopefully moving in the right direction. So we'll see how it plays out.
Just one last question, then we'll let. Okay.
Oh, I was just going to say, now that you're champion of this event, what do you like about this event?
I love the community. I love the fans. I was saying earlier that this is the first time I've really played well here. I've made a couple cuts, but haven't really put 4 good rounds together. But it always seems like I've been received pretty well with the fans and the community. So I love coming back. I love being here in the Quad Cities. I think it's a great area, and everybody does such a great job with the tournament, and I can't wait to be back.
Along those same lines, I was just going to finish with a question about Claire Peterson. His last one is the tournament director. How cool is it that you went in before he passes the torch?
It's great. Claire's great. I see him on the road at other tournaments all the time, and he's always been super nice and saying hey to me. And I didn't realize that he was stepping aside after this year. So thank you, Claire, for all that you've done with this tournament. I know it's very much appreciated, and I'm honored to be your final champ.
There we go. All right. Well, JT, congratulations.
Thank you.
3 minutes.
All right.